Welcome to Crimepedia. I am your host, Morgan, and with me is my detective partner. She is my Crockett to my Tubbs. It's my good buddy. It's Cherry.
Hello.
Hello, Cherry.
I like that. I'm the Crockett to your Tubbs. I think that's cool.
I gave you Crockett.
Yeah.
Crockett was, let's be honest, Crockett was the cooler of the two.
The only reason why I didn't want to be called Tubbs is because, like, being called Tubbs as a girl is not nice, is it?
Oh, no, that wouldn't be. Yeah, you
No.
wouldn't be Tubbs. Oh, I will be Tubbs.
You have to take one for the team and be Tubbs. You
I
don't
would
care
do
what
that.
people say.
No, I don't care what people say. So, Cherry, we've had quite a week this past week, haven't we?
Yeah, we've been so busy with this case. This has probably been one of the most researched cases that we've done. There's so much information to get through.
And what's funny is we're recording these episodes and we're still like coming up with different thoughts, different theories. We've been lucky enough to have wonderful correspondence with Charlie McCormick, who is a detective with the Park County Sheriff's Office. He is part of the Park County Sheriff's Office Cold Case Task Force. So we've been lucky enough to have some emails back and forth with him. He's been very gracious in all of his responses and responding to basically any questions that we have that he could really answer.
We've been really lucky to be able to talk to him. It's not easy when you're researching cases to get information, especially as quick as we have done from him. He's been absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And he's asked us to mention the fact that they do have a website for this cold case. So the case that we're doing, if you haven't heard for last week's case, you need to go back and listen to it. Otherwise, this week's case is not going to make any sense to you. So listen to last week's episode first before you listen to this one, and then you'll understand where we're going with it. The website is RockyMountainColdCase.com, and that's run by the people in Breckenridge, by the Cold Case Task Force. You can go on there and see the timelines. You can see pictures. You can see all the information that we'll be talking about, and it'll make things a little bit clearer for you, maybe.
Yep. And as soon as this episode is published, we should be publishing our own page on the case on our website, which is crimepediapodcast.com.
Yeah.
So we'll have a lot of information on there. Information that you can also get, like you said, on this RockyMountainColdCase.com website.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something for you to look forward to seeing and for you to check out.
Yeah, you've done really well, actually, of collating all the good bits. You've filtered through all of the information and picked out all the things that we've been talking about that's worth noting, and all the different pictures. We've got lots of stuff like that going on the website, so make sure you check that out as well. There's too much to put onto an Instagram post, so Morgan's made a page on our website especially for it, which is really cool.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and hop into. Actually, let's start this week with a little recap of what we talked about last week. So if you remember, Bobbi Jo Oberholtzer was 29 years old and lived in Alma, Colorado. At the time, she was working at a realty office in Breckenridge.
Mm-hmm.
And on that day, she had received a promotion to office manager at work. So she ended up going out and celebrating with two friends at the village pub, had a few drinks, and she ended up not coming home that evening. So the search began. We learned that her driver's license ended up on a rancher's farm out in Como, Colorado, which was approximately 15 miles from her house in Alma, in the opposite direction of Breckenridge. And that also we learned that her backpack and a bloody tissue and her bloody gloves were found in a field on the way out to Como. And then ultimately, her body was located on January 7th by a search party in the vicinity of the Hoosier Pass. So that is a quick recap, or quickish recap of what we talked about last week. Now, Cherry, we did get a email from Charlie McCormick stating that he did listen to the podcast, and he actually provided us with some answers to some of the questions that we brought up during the episode. So do you want to go over those? for our
Yes.
listeners?
So we did talk about the crime scene, Bobbi Jo's crime scene, and we were talking about the blood. Would you be able to see the blood when you were there on the road? And he's actually come back to say that there was no blood located on the embankment or on the road or in the Hoosier Pass parking area. So it, like we said, you wouldn't be able to see it. It does say that this would indicate that she was shot after going over the embankment into the hip deep snow. So you could see that,
So
couldn't you? That
all
it's very deep snow.
Yeah, so all the blood was over the embankment
Yes.
towards the tree line.
Yes. So it wasn't on the road, so you wouldn't have seen it from the road. He also says that in 1982, samples of the blood in the snow and the blood that was found on Bobbi Jo's woolen glove were determined to be the same blood type as Bobbi Jo's. So there were no other tests available, obviously, in 1982. Now, when the glove was re-examined in 2002, the new DNA technology was available, and it was determined that the blood on the glove was not that of Bobbi Jo and that it actually was from a male. Now, the DNA profile has been in CODIS since 2002.
Which is very interesting.
That is really interesting.
So been 2002 and no hits.
No
Incredible.
hits, no hits at all. So also he did mention to us. We did talk about Bobbi Jo's backpack, the glove, and everything that was found. And we also did talk about why would you go out on skis, that kind of thing. And he has
Oh yeah, why would
actually,
you go? Yeah, why would you go straight to Hoosier Pass,
yeah.
right?
So
Because the search party, there was a search party that went out um after they
the
found Bobby Joe's
backpack,
belongings. There
yeah.
was the search party that went out to Hoosier Pass, and so I
Mhm.
think we both were questioning why would you start there?
Mm. Well, he's actually given us the reasons for this now. It was a group of friends gathered at the Oberholtzer home. And because of the evidence that they had found earlier, so the backpack and everything, they decided that they were going to go and search along Highway 9 from Breckenridge to Fairplay to try and see if there's anything else that had been discarded. Now, they know the area really well. They decided to start at the Hoosier Pass summit because it's easier going downhill. So rather than traveling back up, they've decided to go
Okay.
downhill. Now, two of the men in the search party brought their cross country skis because they knew that there was an old Jeep trail that started at the pass and then went the pass parking lot and then went down south through the woods parallel to the highway towards Alma.
Mhm.
So they decided that would be better because they'd have a better view of the forest side because of
Okay.
the snow on the embankment. So that's why they had the skis. That was nothing to do with Jeff. That was, they had decided to do that. Now, it says that after about 4 p.m., after skiing about 100 yards, they then found Bobbi Jo's body. None of the search party approached the body. And as luck would have it, they flagged down a Breckenridge police car, which was going over the Hoosier Pass. Now, it says
Yeah.
that Jeff Oberholtzer was not a member of the search party. It's
Okay.
so he wasn't a member of that search party at the time. And he's also told us that as it grew dark, the scene was under investigation by the Breckenridge Police Department, the Summit County Sheriff's Department, the Park County Sheriff's Department. They had the
Hmm.
Alma Marshal, Fairplay Police Department, and then after
Wow. Yeah.
dark, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. So there's loads of cops
That is a
there,
lot.
a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
cops.
You would have two county sheriffs there because Hoosier Pass is actually the border of Summit and Park
Mm,
County. So
mm,
so you have basically a crime scene which could potentially cover two separate counties.
right. Okay. We also talked about was there anything going on in the Oberholtzer marriage. He says that it
Mhm.
did have its difficulties. According to close friends, however, Bobbi and Jeff had decided to try to have a baby. They'd announced this at a friend's New Year's Eve party about 6 days before her murder. So they were kind of, planning a baby and trying to work things out. Also, we talked about why would she get into a car with so many people? Would she get in with one man? Would she get in with two men? And Charlie's told us that Bobbi had some rules that she self-imposed when she was hitchhiking. She would not accept a ride from a male that she didn't know unless there was a female in the vehicle. Also, because she hitched rides on a regular schedule going to and from work, she almost always got rides from somebody she knew. Unfortunately, he says, on the evening of the January 6, 1982, she was off schedule by at least 2 hours, and the fact that it was double digits below zero might have caused her to make an exception to her rules that she usually would have followed. So, because it was absolutely freezing and she was off schedule by a bit, could she have abandoned her rules and just jumped into the car with somebody she didn't know?
And that is very, very interesting.
Mm. So that's a really
What
good
does that mean
update.
for
So
this case?
thank you
It
to
is
Charlie. That's a really
extremely good.
really good, because obviously we had a lot of questions last episode, and that's put them into considerations. That's really good.
Thank you very much, Cherry. And how about we go ahead and jump right into part 2 of the
Let's
Breckenridge murders.
let's go.
So, also on January 6th, another hitchhiker had taken the same route to get home. She was also picked up on Highway 9 and was trying to reach her home in Blue Ridge, which is approximately 5 miles outside of Breckenridge. And this was 21-year-old Annette Schnee. Now, at this time, she had 2 jobs. So during the day, she worked at the Holiday Inn in Frisco, which is another small town to the north of Breckenridge. And in the evening, she worked as a bartender at Flipside Bar, which was a part of the Beaver Run complex in Breckenridge.
Okay, so yeah, it's just north. It's just north. Frisco is just like north. What are we looking? Northwestish. Frisco is just northwest of Breckenridge, so it's not
Just a
far.
few miles.
Yeah, it's not far out
No,
at all.
they're really close.
Yeah, not far at all.
Now, on January 6th, Annette had been sick for a few days,
Okay.
and she ended up leaving work early that day because she was still not feeling well. So she ended up going to the medical center in Frisco to get checked out, and she was given a prescription at the time. She then got a ride to Breckenridge, where she made her last known stop to have a prescription filled at a pharmacy called the drugstore at approximately 4:45 p.m.
Did she not drive?
I'm not sure if she could drive or not, but I do know she did not own a car. So, like Bobbi Jo, she relied on rides
Yeah,
to
so
get
neither of them
to and from
drove.
home.
Okay.
No, so she would frequently hitchhike
Yeah.
from her home up to Frisco and then Frisco down to Breckenridge, and that was her main form of transportation.
Yeah. And she's like Bobbi Jo in that she's young, she's blonde, long hair, beautiful girl,
They
very, very attractive.
they are very, very similar.
They are
Okay, so
very
you remember
similar.
Bobbi Jo was 5'3", about 100 pounds. Annette Schnee was 5'3", 102 pounds, and had light brown, blondish hair
Yeah.
and had brown eyes.
Long hair as well. Both of them have got long hair.
Both had long hair. Both very, very similar in look.
Yeah, they are. Looks, height, and weight. Like both very similar in
Yeah,
everything, aren't they?
they are. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Annette was accompanied by what witnesses call a unkept but otherwise pretty woman with dark shoulder-length hair.
Right.
The pharmacy clerk did recognize Annette, but did not recognize the woman that she was with.
Was it definitely a woman?
From what this witness says, it was definitely a woman.
Okay.
So investigators believed that Annette did know this unidentified woman. The clerk would later tell detectives that they didn't quite seem to belong together. Like they would be considered like an odd couple.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if it's because maybe, I don't know if she was older, but there was just something about the two, the pairing,
They
that
just didn't fit.
there's something that just didn't fit.
Mm.
While Annette was checking out, the clerk heard her reminding the woman that she wanted to buy cigarettes. And so Annette ended up paying for those cigarettes for the woman. So the cigarettes and the prescription were the only purchases that were made by Annette at the store.
That's weird, isn't it?
It is very weird.
And this woman's never come forward.
She has never come forward. We do not know who she is.
That's really weird.
It is. That evening, Annette was supposed to have a shift at the Flipside Bar at 8 p.m., which she never showed up for. Her uniform for the Flipside Bar was found at home, and it was never picked up. So it was laying out on her bed. Annette was described as being very reliable, and it's thought that she may have been heading home to get ready for work when she disappeared. So it was very out of the ordinary for her to not
Yeah.
even call. Like if something was going on and she was feeling sick and she wasn't going to be able to make her shift, she was the type of person that would call and say, "Hey, I'm sick. I won't be in today." So that's very, very odd. So Annette, after this last sighting at the drugstore, completely vanished. No one saw or heard from Annette again.
That's really weird.
Very, very weird.
Yeah.
Now, nearly 6 months after Annette went missing, her body was discovered by a 9-year-old boy laying
Oh.
face down in knee-deep water of Sacramento Creek, lying partially on the bank against a willow tree in early July of 1982.
So was it still snowy then, July, or is it?
It was not. So
No.
July, yeah. Now you got to remember. So we're pretty high up in the mountains. So there, even in June, July, you might have some snow-capped mountains. But
Yeah.
by this time, there's no snow. Okay. The location of the body was approximately 20 miles south of Breckenridge and 10 miles south of the Hoosier Pass summit, which we discussed last episode. Now, her home was up in Blue River, which is approximately 4 miles north of Hoosier Pass. So she's
Yeah, yeah,
really
it's in
nowhere
between.
near her home.
No, it's in between Breckenridge and the
Mhm.
Hoosier Pass, like right in the middle.
Put it this way, her body was closer to where to Bobbi Jo's backpack was than to where her home is.
Weird. So her body was found not far then from where Bobbi Jo's stuff was found.
Mhm. Yeah.
So this is along the same kind of
You have to remember that in this area from Breckenridge, you can either go north
north
or
or south.
south.
Yeah, that's right. So you're
Okay.
going to have to go one of those ways, aren't you?
Yes. Yes. So if you want to play map,
I'm
it's
playing
time to
map.
play map.
We'll play a map.
All right.
Okay,
Let's play map.
let's do it.
All right. So what you want to look for is you remember last week we talked about fair play.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start in Fairplay, Colorado.
Okay, let me find fair play. There's Jefferson. Oh, found
So
it.
you want
Got
to,
it. I
okay.
got
So
it.
you got fair play. Okay.
Yep.
So if we
Got.
start at fair play, if you head northwest on 9, not too far, you'll see where it intersects with Route 14.
I see. Yep. Got it.
Okay. Now, she was found on Route 14 approximately 3 miles from Highway 9. So what we want to
Okay.
do is if you go west on
Yep. On
14,
14. Yeah.
you will eventually get to where this is 14 is also known as Sacramento Creek Road. So you'll see
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento Creek to the south of the road.
I see it.
Now, if you keep going west, you'll see where there is a lane. It's called Gold Pan Lane, which
Okay,
goes
hang
into
on.
Sacramento Creek.
Where are we? Hang on. Let's see. Oh, I found it. Gold Pan Lane. Got it.
So you see Gold Pan Lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see it. Yeah.
Now, if you go just a little bit farther west, you'll see something called, looks like it's Melba Lane. Now, this is very, very important. So she was found in the Sacramento Creek, which is directly south of Sacramento Creek Road, right near Melba Lane. Now, if you were just to look at the map without seeing what it actually looks like, you're like, okay, that's not bad. What you need to realize is that there is actually is a drop off. There's a significant drop off from Sacramento Creek Road down to Sacramento Creek,
Okay.
and it's heavily wooded. And the thing that we need to remember too is that there was a lot of snow that evening.
Hmm.
That evening, Sacramento Creek Road did have snowplows go through, and it was plowed to a spot roughly 100 feet west of where her body was located. Okay.
Oh God. Okay.
It seems like someone would have been able to drive down Sacramento Creek Road to dump the
Yeah.
body.
Right.
Remember, this is not flat. This is
No.
a steep
It's
drop off.
hilly. Yeah, you can see.
It would be extremely difficult for someone to get down this hill in a non-snowy environment.
Yeah.
I'm under the opinion, this is my opinion, it would be nearly impossible for someone to drag a body down this hill in the snow, in the amount of snow that there was, and drop the body there.
And this is at the time of her. Obviously, they found her 6 months after she went.
Mhm.
She went missing. So she went missing when it was really snowy, and they found her 6 months later in this area, this Melba Lane area.
That's correct. Now, it's very possible that where her body was located wasn't actually the location of where it was dropped.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, because with the snow and ice melt,
Mm.
the the water flow of Sacramento Creek would be enough to take a body downstream.
So it could possibly move. So once it melted, it could move her, and that could be where she's. Well, that's where she's come to rest.
That's correct. So
Interesting.
so the Sacramento Creek runs west to east. So it's heading down towards 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's possible that if someone did drop her off farther up the road, they could have.
Yeah.
Now there would be a significant amount of snow, which to me would indicate some sort of truck that was
It's
used.
got to be, hasn't it? It's not going to be your standard car.
Yeah. Now it's believed because of this area, this kind of indicates to investigators that the person had to have been familiar with the location.
They've got to have been, haven't they? It's so remote. When you look at it on even, I mean, I'm looking at it now and it's not snowy, not really, really snowy. There's still evidence of snow there, but it's still really remote. Even now, I mean, I'm looking at an aerial view of now, and even now it's very remote and there's a few I think there must be houses, but they're very big, aren't they? They're very big properties if they are houses.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
And even to the day, this part of Sacramento Creek Road is not paved.
Oh, okay. So even now,
So it is
40
a
years
dirt
later.
road.
Yeah.
40. Yeah, if you actually look at the satellite, you'll see it is a dirt road.
Yeah, it is. And so 6 months for a body to be out in the open. I mean, what was the state of her body when she was found?
It was actually not bad, all right, because her body had completely frozen
That's what I
and
was
later
thinking.
thawed.
So she must have been put out in the elements when it was very cold, and that's preserved her body enough. If she was in a not too badly decomposed state, the
Mhm.
chances are that she's been out there the whole time and she's thawed out sort of with the ice and the snow thawing.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, so she was fully clothed, but her clothes were were disarrayed,
Okay.
which indicated that it's possible that someone had raped her and then had redressed her.
Okay.
So Annette did have boots on both feet. On her right foot, she had a long striped sock on.
Okay.
And on the left foot, investigators discovered that Annette was wearing a orange booty sock.
Oh.
So let's rewind to Bobbi Jo Oberholtzer, who at the Hoosier Pass, remember we found her keychain in the parking lot, and we also found an
An
orange
orange
booty sock.
sock. Yeah.
Annette's other striped sock was actually found inside her bloody hooded sweatshirt. We later find out that this orange booty sock was Annette's, and the one that was found in Hoosier Pass was the matching sock. And it was confirmed by Annette's mother, who had purchased the socks for Annette for Christmas as a Christmas gift, and that she chose orange because orange was the color of her high school in Sioux Falls, Iowa.
Okay, so back up 2 seconds.
Yes.
Bobbi Jo Oberholtzer was
Yes.
found
Mm-hmm.
January 7th, 1982.
Yes.
And Annette Schnee was found 6 months later,
In July of 1982.
1982. But Bobbi, who they found first, had Annette, who they found second's sock with her.
Yes.
So this means Annette sock had to have been taken from her before Bobbi Jo was murdered.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so the socks link.
I'm
There's no
enjoying
other
listening
way.
to. I am enjoying listening to you, and I hear everything starting to click, and I can the light bulbs are going off. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, so the only thing that's linking these two women, other than the fact that they look the same, they're the same weight and they're the same height,
Mm-hmm.
is this sock. Okay, so Annette's sock was found with Bobbi Jo. Bobbi Jo was found first, Annette 6 months later, but Annette must have been killed before Bobbi. So whoever did this had to have got Annette first and then Bobbi, which means the husband is out of the husband camp. We're back out of it's the husband camp.
Wait. So are you back in the husband, or are you out of it?
No, we're out because otherwise it would have meant he would have killed Annette first and then gone and killed Bobbi Jo. But if he was mad with Bobbi Jo, why would he have killed Annette? How does he know Annette?
Does he know Annette?
Does he know Annette? Is he having an affair with Annette?
Okay, let's finish with Annette, and then we'll come back to this point.
Yeah.
So, like I said, They found Annette in Sacramento Creek. Because she was in cold water,
Yeah.
it was allowed enough preservation for an autopsy to occur.
That was my next question. Okay. And what happened? What did they find?
They were not able to actually test for sexual assault. That could not be
No.
completed.
Okay.
But they did find that she was shot in the back,
Oh, shot just like Bobbi Jo.
and the gunshot went through her body. The bullet was not found, but authorities believe that it could have been either a 38 or a 357 caliber bullet.
Now, wasn't that the same as Bobbi Jo's?
Yes.
Ah!
Yeah. Bobbi Jo was, let me go back to my notes.
Medium. They've both been shot with a medium caliber revolver because the other one was a medium
Mhm.
caliber. Bobbi Jo's was medium caliber.
Okay, so Bobbi Jo was a Winchester hollow point copper bullet.
Copper. I remember you saying something. I said,
So
bronze.
yeah,
Yeah.
same caliber. Now, 2 months after Annette's body was found, her backpack was found near Hoosier Pass, actually just north of Hoosier Pass,
No.
which is where, of course,
Bobbi Jo was
Jo
found.
was located. Yeah. Now this is okay. So I mentioned Bobbi Jo's backpack, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pop quiz. What side of the car was the backpack on?
The passenger side car.
Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you another question.
Yeah.
Annette's backpack or her belongings were found, right?
Yeah.
What side of the car were they found on?
No, not the passenger side.
The passenger side.
No way.
Yes.
This is definitely more than one person. It's got to be.
Yeah, they were both on the passenger side.
Oh, but unless, what if the person was driving a foreign car?
Unlikely.
Is it?
I think it's unlikely, especially
Okay.
at that time. Yeah.
You don't have it's not usual to have
No,
other
it's not.
people's car. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, and here's the thing too. You got to think about it too. Is someone was in that area, if they're from the area and they're familiar with the area,
Yeah, of course.
something like a foreign car would be very, very visible.
Very
right? You'd like,
obvious.
okay, you would know. You'd be very obvious. And the other thing is, you got to remember, if we believe that the Annette's body was dropped farther down the road on that Sacramento Creek, I don't really recall that many foreign trucks
No.
being made. I mean,
But-
outside of Japan.
Something has just clicked in my brain though.
Okay.
Now, we talked about if you were hitchhiking, or as a female, if you were hitchhiking, you probably wouldn't get into a truck with like two men. You would feel a bit like, maybe not a good idea. And also, we talked about the one person. Could it be one person? Could it be two? And this whole passenger side business. What if it wasn't two men? What if it was a husband and wife?
It has happened before.
Because you would be more inclined to get in a car with a couple because there's another female there than you would two men. And if we're looking at like a two-person kind of thing, somebody is throwing something out of the passenger side. You wouldn't, like you say, you wouldn't be driving and lean across and throw something out of the passenger. You're going to do it out of the driver's side. So what if you've got somebody driving and somebody rifling through the stuff in the bag and throwing it out? Because we know that Annette was with an unidentified, dark-haired, short shoulder-length hair woman. So we know she was with a woman. So what if she met somebody and was saying that she's going to hitchhike back, got into a conversation. They was like, oh, we're going that way. You know, my husband and I are going that way. Oh, I've got to stop at the pharmacy first. Oh, yeah, no problem. I need to get some cigarettes. So they go in together. And then she's like, oh, I'm safe because I'm with a woman and her husband. This is fine. I'll get a lift home.
So then would that indicate robbery to you? What does that indicate? If it is a man and a woman,
then they're obviously sick in the head. You don't know. It could have been a sexual thing. It could have been a sexual thing. It could have been just nutcases and just wanted to kill her. I don't know. There's so many different things. I'm thinking like Big Sky now. Thinking, oh, what if they're like a tag team partnership? What if like one of them's sick and the other one's just trying? Because you know sometimes when you've got a man that's an abuser and the woman's abused, and then they'll do it where the victim will recruit other victims so that she doesn't have to deal with the abuse anymore. So what if it's that kind of situation where she's just like, oh my God, that's crazy.
So strange, right?
Well, yeah, because blatantly the same person has killed two people. Now, obviously, he or she, it's he, because we know that the blood was male DNA. So the Bobbies obviously fought back, managed to get away from this person, injured them enough that they're bleeding, but obviously Annette hasn't. So,
yeah,
He's done it once thinking, okay, this was easy because we've managed to get her and kill her and do whatever they needed to do. Then they've tried it again. Like, how many days later? How long after was Annette? How long after Bobbi Jo was killed than Annette? What's the time difference between the two?
Within 2 hours.
What? 2 out the same day?
2 to 3 hours. Yeah.
Shit. So they've
That is my guess.
So he's got one and then straight away got another one.
Okay, let's do the time frame real quick, okay?
Yeah.
So we last see Annette at approximately 4:45 p.m.
So Annette's 4:45. Okay, at the drugstore. Yeah.
Okay, let's say hypothetically, right off the bat, she is taken.
Yeah.
And okay, if they drive immediately down to where her body is located,
yes,
that is going to take a half an hour. So we are now at approximately.
We're looking like 5:15, like around 5:15.
Yeah, between that and 5:30. Yeah, 5:15 to 5:30. Okay.
Okay, so we're looking at 5 to 5:30 disposal.
Dispose of the body. Okay, if there was a sexual assault, her clothes had been removed and put back on. At some point, she loses her sock. So we know that
in the it's going to be in the truck somewhere.
In the truck somewhere or car, but I'm thinking it's a truck.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that she's found with both her boots on. So that means that they're putting, which is strange to me. Why are you putting her boots on? But anyways, they put her boots back on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's say that's going to take another, if there's a sexual assault and then you're putting clothes back on, let's give it 15 minutes.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, if there's two. Yeah, so, of course. Yeah, okay.
So now we're talking
just nearly
between
like
5:30 and 5:45.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, 5:45. Let's say 5:45. We're at 5:45 now. Now they have to drive back to Breckenridge. Okay, so that's another half an hour. So now we're at 6:15.
Yeah, so that's back.
So we don't know.
Back. Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on with them between 6:15 and the last time anyone saw Bobbi Jo was approximately 8 o'clock.
8.
So there's about an hour and 45 minutes where we don't know what's going on.
No, and because I was just thinking, or maybe they had them in at the same time, but they can't have done because Bobbi Jo was still visible and she was last seen at around 8. So they've got about an hour and 45 minutes in between the two abductions, and that's so close.
Let me ask you this now. So if let's say 6:15, we're talking 6:15 back to Breckenridge, okay?
Yeah.
But let's say they didn't go all the way back to Breckenridge, but instead stopped in Alma. Well, what time would they be getting there? About 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
What time does Jeff Oberholtzer's alibi start?
Yeah, his alibi starts. He's with him
at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
So Jeff's alibi might not cover the time that Annette was murdered.
No. So you think possibly it could be Jeff gone and done one and then go and get his wife afterwards?
It could be. Now, you asked, does Jeff know Annette?
Don't tell me they were having an affair.
I don't know if they're having an affair. So.
Okay, that was going to be like a woo.
When police questioned Jeff about Annette, Jeff initially stated that he did not know who Annette Schnee was. However, after a few days...
I knew there was going to be however.
After seeing a picture of Annette in the newspaper, Jeff admitted to having picked her up at least once while she was hitchhiking.
Damn you, husband. Oh my God.
This line of questioning was very important to investigators because guess what Annette had in her wallet?
His phone number.
Jeff's business card.
Oh my God. Why would you do that? Why would you give someone your business card? What for? What did he do?
Well, he did. Remember, he does appliance repair. Okay,
so that could have been that they chatted about her broken kettle or something, and she's gone, I can do that. That's what I do for a living. Just give me a call anytime.
Yep, exactly.
So that could be innocent.
It could be innocent.
Just bad luck for Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there was one other strange thing that was found.
Another one? Annette's, oh my God.
I know. And found in Annette's backpack. So in her backpack, they did locate a photograph of a man who has never been identified.
What?
So there was a photo of a man in her backpack that no one knows who he is.
So nothing to do with obviously there's no social media at this time. So nope. So her family don't know him.
Family does not know him. It was not her boyfriend. Oh. We do not know who he is.
Okay, so Annette's got a boyfriend. Where are the whereabouts and what's going on with Annette's boyfriend?
We don't know. there is not much known about the boyfriend. We don't know his name. We don't know what his alibi is. We don't know what he was doing the day of the murders. We don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, when you look at Jeff Oberholtzer does look quite scary. I think he looks suspect. I'd be interested to know what this, what the boyfriend, whether he, I mean, if you were to find a picture of a random man in your wife's like backpack and stuff, you'd be a bit like, what? Who's that? So,
And so, okay, I just sent you this picture, and then once again, I'll post this on social media.
so this is the picture that was found.
This is the picture that's found. So it almost looks like a military
I was
type
just about
photo,
to say
right?
that to you. He's got a buzz cut. So that looks to me like a military, and he looks like he's in a military uniform.
It's a black and white picture.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a dark shirt, a very white undershirt. The other thing I noticed is it looks like would it be
He's
his
got a black eye.
right eye?
Yeah.
Yeah, his white eye is like almost like it was like swollen or
It looks
something.
very
Like it
black.
was swollen
Yeah. It looks like
shut.
a black eye. Yeah. Good looking guy. It kind of looks like a passport. Yeah. It looks like a
Oh,
passport
Doug,
or a.
you are right.
It looks like a
Yeah.
passport photo because he's not really smiling, but it's that, like when you have your passport photo, you've got to have the full face and shoulders, and it looks like some sort of like identification picture
Mm-hmm.
that would maybe, because sometimes you get extra, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if he's given her the extra one.
Passport, or if it's a military ID
Yeah,
photo,
an
or
ID card photo.
because his hair is high and tight, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's
It's
like this guy just
classic,
was
isn't
in
it?
boot camp.
Yeah,
But it also seems like it's the photo would be a lot older than 1982.
yeah,
If I
yeah,
looking at this, I'm like, okay, that'd be if someone were to show me this photo, like, hey, tell me what decade this photo is from.
yeah.
I would probably say the 60s, maybe, right?
Also, if you look at it, it's very creased. So this is something she's had for a long time. This isn't a new
Or
photo.
someone has had for
Or
a long time.
someone's had this, yeah, for a long time. The other thing is, I
Hmm.
think he looks like I wonder if he's a boxer of some sort. Look at his nose. Look how swollen his nose is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
You're
wonder if
right.
he's maybe a boxer in the military or something like that, or he's been in a fight of some sort, because he looks very shiny, if you know what I mean. It looks very shiny and
Hmm.
swollen. I honestly think I think it's an ID picture. Like you used to get them on a strip, didn't you? There used to be a strip of 4 when you go
Yeah.
into those booths. And I wonder if he's just like gone and had his picture taken, because look at the background. The background's clear. And remember those booths, you're not allowed to have anything behind you. So you either have
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
blue
yeah.
curtain or you have the screen. I wonder if he is taken the photos for like an identity badge or something, and he's just given her one of them if it's for her.
Hmm.
It's a good looking guy. He's not very old, so around the same sort of time frame. Maybe she had a bit of a thing with him.
Maybe, but then how can no one identify him?
Because it might have just been a fling. He might have just been in the area, and maybe they were pen pals. Back then you used to write a lot.
Yeah,
If he was in the
maybe.
military, maybe he was over there, he's given her the picture, and maybe they're pen pals, or maybe he sent her the picture or something, and she's got it in her
Possibly.
bag. But then would you do that with a boyfriend? Would you carry it?
Well, I wouldn't.
No, unless it's been put in her wallet and she's forgotten about it and it was in the back of behind some cards or
Possibly.
something, you know?
Possibly.
I've done that before. Pictures of my daughter that have been like got caught in the bottom of a purse, and they've folded up and I've not realized that they're still there. Could be that. I'm going with the pen pal. I'm going with the military pen pal.
Man, it's so strange that he's not been identified. Because this
That's
person could have
weird.
they could have absolutely nothing to do with this, right?
I'm thinking
We're not saying
no. I'm thinking it's nothing to do with this at all. I'm thinking this is someone she's met and has kept in contact with. The other thing that I think is
mhm,
weird about this is that with the whole mostly harmless Ben by Lemmy case, that was
uh-huh.
pushed far and wide, and nobody came forward for that guy for years. Could be the same thing. This is a young man you may not recognize. This could be somebody who's in a completely different state, completely different country. He might be like German or something.
Yeah, it could be.
And so nobody there is going to know who this guy is because this is 40 odd years ago. He could be married with kids and
Oh,
grandkids by
man.
now.
And I understand what you're saying. This could be someone she had a fling with that,
Yeah.
that no one that she didn't tell anyone about. That's very, very possible, right?
Yeah. Especially as it's a pass-through town. It's the kind of town that people visit. It's a kind of town that people come to for holidays. They don't stay very long, you know? I'm thinking that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
Maybe the guy, the name could be like Joe, and she met him at the Holiday Inn in Frisco, and he got in
Exactly.
a fight, and she's like, "Hey, here's a picture of me. Remember me? I got in the fight. Ha ha ha." I don't know.
Or she's met him whilst he's there on vacation. They've got talking. They've swapped addresses because
Yeah,
obviously you don't
yeah,
usually phone like that. They swapped addresses because he's going back to wherever he's from, and then he sent her that.
yeah,
Remember
yeah,
I
yeah.
told you I had a pen pal who was in prison?
Y'all,
Do
yes,
you remember? So
yes,
my pen pal, he used to send me photos, and they were like photos from like when he was not in prison, obviously, because they don't have cameras in prison.
yeah.
But he sent me like photo, which is what made me automatically think photo booth. It's easy and quick, and they were instant, weren't they, back then? I don't know
They
when the
were,
last time was that
yeah.
you used a photo booth, but now, but then I think that's what it is. I think this is pen pal. I think this is a guy that she's had either a flirtation with or something, and they've kept in contact. Interesting. I don't
It
think he
is.
murdered her. I don't think it's him.
I don't know. I don't think so either.
No. I think he's completely unrelated to this.
But it's still strange, right?
Yeah, totally. I bet he's not American.
Oh, I think he's American. I
Do
think
you?
American soldier. I think he's an. Yeah, I think it's a military photo.
Definitely. Definitely a military photo. He's got that look
Yeah.
about him. Men didn't cut their hair like that back in the 80s unless they were in the military because you wouldn't cut your hair like that unless
Or
you have
70
to.
days. No, yeah, yeah, huh? No, no, no.
Because he's got a good
Definitely
hairline, so
not.
it's not like he's cutting it because he's going bald.
He good hair. No, yeah. So it's short.
Yeah.
He's clean shaven, completely clean shaven.
Yeah. He's got good shoulders.
And I noticed honestly, this is gonna sound funny, but that T-shirt is extremely white.
Yeah, exactly. His clothes they look military, don't they?
They do.
Especially if you're thinking back to that time.
I kind of wish you could see like his actual shirt a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it with a collar.
Me
I'm
too.
imagining it with a
Yeah,
collar
me too.
with the white undershirt underneath it.
Because if you to look at it, it does look a bit like a camo, like the military uniform.
Yeah.
It does look like that, but because it's black and white, you can't, and it's very mottled because you can see where it's been photocopied, and so for you to be able to see it, you can see the sort of the texture of the actual picture. You can't really see whether it is a military uniform, but that white t-shirt, I think, telltale sign of a military person.
Mhm.
And the nose, I just think the nose and the eye, it all just screams military to me. And I would guess, obviously we can't ask her because she's not here, but I would guess those two had some sort of something, and he's gone, left, and that was just left in her possession.
That's fair. Okay. I think that's fair.
Because if he stopped writing, she stopped writing to him. I mean, you don't know. He could have been killed in action somewhere,
Yeah.
and so there
Oh,
would
no,
be no
absolutely.
further letters coming to her.
Very true.
Strange. Yeah. God, I'd love to find him.
He might not even know what happened to her.
Exactly. He might not know anything about what's happened to her. He might have just gone on, got married, had kids, got grandkids, and not know anything about her and just fondly remember the girl he met in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kiss I had in the snow. Oh,
So
God.
romantic.
I know, it's quite hot
So
though.
romantic.
Yeah, you see what I mean, ladies. You have a look at the picture. You'll see what I mean. Good looking guy he is. No, yeah. God, that's crazy.
Okay, we started the timeline. This is our presumed timeline, okay? So let's kind of go back over it and see if there's anything we're missing.
Go
Okay.
for it. Yeah.
So 4:45, 5 o'clock, Annette Schnee is picked up.
Yes.
Okay. Once again, driven down 9 to the location of where her body was found, or near the location of the body found in Sacramento Creek. So we're talking once again half hour. So we're at what we're gonna say
5:30ish.
5:30ish.
Yeah.
Okay. To get back up to Breckenridge, that's another half an hour. So on the way back up to Breckenridge, her backpack they're tossed
Tossed
from the
out the
car.
window. Yeah.
And I said that was located just north of the Hoosier Pass.
Yes, which is where we found Bobbi Jo.
If you actually want to see the location where it is, if you are on your map, if you want to play map with me real quick,
I'm playing map.
if you're at Hoosier Pass, you kind of see when you start going north, it starts kind of loops around one time, loops around another time, and then there's like almost like I'd call it like a hairpin turn.
Yeah, I see. Yep.
That is roughly the location of where her backpack was found. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
on once again the passenger side. So that would be east of the road.
Do we know? Was there anything on her wrists? Any ties or anything like that?
No, there was not.
So I'm wondering if whoever did this learnt from the first one.
That's a good call. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting.
Okay, yeah. So then,
All right.
okay, so we found her stuff then, and this has taken us up to about 6:15-ish,
Yeah.
we
So
think.
we get back up to Breckenridge, roughly between 6:15 and 6:30. So we don't know what the suspect or suspects are doing, but at that time.
Yeah, if they
But we
went back
do
straight
know
back.
So we're assuming at roughly around 8 o'clock, because we know last time someone saw Bobbi Jo was
Yeah,
shortly before 8 o'clock. So let's
yeah,
say sometime between 8 o'clock and 8:15, Bobbi Jo is picked up at the Minute Mart in Breckenridge and then driven south towards her
yeah,
home in Alma.
yeah. And then she was dumped off down at the Hoosier Pass, which is where they were before.
I just thought of something while we're doing this.
Okay.
So Annette lived in Blue Ridge,
Yes, which was just down. Yeah.
just down. So she had to have known something was going on because they would have passed Blue
Her
Ridge.
house, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible to think.
That
Okay.
is horrible.
So very quickly, she had to have known that something wrong was going on. But yeah, so then Bobbi Jo, she lives down in Alma, which is farther south. They get to Hoosier Pass,
Yep.
and maybe I'm assuming that Hoosier Pass was probably being used as the location to kind of like to get her under control and to
Yeah.
tie her up.
Yeah.
So they stop in the parking lot at Hoosier Pass to get the zip ties on her wrists.
Yeah.
They were able to get one on her before she fights back,
Yeah.
injures a suspect,
Mm.
gets out of the car, runs the 300 or so feet south of the parking lot,
Yeah.
is chased down, attacked, shot twice.
And then they've just left her because they didn't check to see if she was still alive. They've just left her.
They just left her. So we are now talking at approximately
It's got to be like half
between
8, 9 o'clock-ish, isn't it? It doesn't take
okay,
that
we'll
long
say
to get
between
down
8
from.
no,
It doesn't
no,
take very long to get there.
so latest 9 o'clock. So 8:45 to 9 o'clock, this is occurring.
Yeah.
The suspect or suspects continue driving down
Down
9
9.
after killing
Yeah.
Bobbi Jo.
Well, then they go right then, don't they? Down to
Yeah,
Fairplay and
they
back
go down
up
to
towards
Fairplay on
Como.
285.
Yeah.
They go through her stuff and they throw it out as they drive up towards
Up
Como,
towards Colorado.
which continues up towards Denver.
Yeah. So this sounds like somebody who is familiar with the area of Breckenridge, familiar with the fact that there's hitchhikers. The only thing that I don't understand with this is why two so close together? Like why, if you just got your fix, why two so quick?
They didn't get what they wanted out of
The
Annette. I
first
don't know.
time.
It has
Yeah.
to be, right?
That's what I was just about to say to you. That isn't it strange that there's Utah. I didn't know it was that close.
It is that. Yes, it is close. Yes.
I love map. So sorry. Yeah, so that makes me think that whatever they wanted to get from Annette, they didn't. And so they've straight away tried again. And we know that there's obviously with both of them, or with the second one, with Bobbi Jo, there wasn't any signs of sexual assault. With the first one, they're not sure, but her clothes are in disarray. But it could be that her clothes were in disarray because of a struggle. It could have been her clothes were in disarray because of where she was left. We can't say for certain that she
Yeah.
was actually sexually assaulted. We don't know that for sure. And if she was, then
we know at one point her boot was off and her sock was off. We know that.
but that
for a
could just be
fact.
from fighting, couldn't it? That could just be from fighting back.
It could be, but then how does it get back on your foot?
Yeah, they've just shoved it back on, haven't they?
Yeah, the one was stuffed into her sweatshirt, and the other one was left in the truck.
Right. So to me, it sounds kind of organized, but at the same time, it's kind of opportunistic as well. It sounds like they're looking for a
Yeah.
certain something, Not
Mhm.
not really maybe those two girls in particular, but they're looking for, someone, and it just happened to be those two girls.
It's very brazen.
Very.
Extremely.
Which is what makes me think that it's not just one person, because there's courage in numbers. And I'm wondering if this
Yeah.
is two people, be it male or female or male and male. But I read that Bobbi Jo's husband said that she wouldn't have got into a car with somebody who she didn't know. But then hitchhikers get into cars with people that they don't know all the time. She could have called him. It was early in the evening. She could have called him to come and get her. That he thinks she got in the car with somebody she knew because then she would get a lift home. So what if this is the case for the same thing for Annette? They both work in Breckenridge or roundabouts. So they both work in a ski town. They both work where you may see somebody quite often, maybe not know them, but you know of them.
Mhm.
Could it be that it's, somebody who's from out of town, but not really out of town? Because Denver is out of town, but it's not that
That's
far
out of town.
away. Yeah.
It's so confusing. Now, here's the other thing that I wanna think about, and I'm gonna ask you. Do they dump Annette's body before they go back and pick up Bobbi Jo?
See, this is what I was wondering when you said about this, because the two socks, it's one straight after the other. Could it have been that they're both in the vehicle at the same time? But then would Bobbi Jo have got into unless it is a truck that you could get her into the back of, so you wouldn't see
Yeah.
her. So she could be in the back of the truck, because you're not going to get into a truck if there's a dead girl sat in the front, are you?
No, 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 huh?
So
No.
Bobbi Jo's not stupid. She's not going to get in.
And and if it's a truck, and even if she's not dead, you're not gonna, like, you're not gonna
No,
fit 4
no.
adults in the front
In
seat
the
of a
front of a
truck.
truck. So even if we're thinking truck purely because car, I don't know how probable a car's going to be driving around on those roads when it's been snowing as much as it had. Chances are it's going to be some sort of truck. People that are from that area and around that area are going to be used to the snowfall.
I have a feeling I don't know, just something about this just screams truck to
Truck
me.
and me. It's the van, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's going to
or
be a
van,
van.
yeah. Van or truck. I
It's
think
got to
truck.
be. And I'm thinking maybe they had her. Could they have had her dead already in the back of the truck and they've picked her? But I just don't understand why you do one and then the other so close. I mean, we're talking hours. We're not talking like a couple of days later. We're talking literally one after the other. I don't think
Yeah.
this is a trafficking thing. I don't think it's something like that because they've killed them.
So with Annette and where her body is, you gotta remember too, time of year, January, it's gonna get
Mm,
dark early.
definitely.
You would have to know that area very well if you're going out there
Yeah, you would.
in the dark.
Especially where Annette was found. It's so remote there. You'd have to know that
Yeah.
you could dump a body there and not be seen.
Yeah, and so the other thing about that area where her body was found was that area was known to be a makeshift firing range that locals used.
So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to hear gunshots.
No, it would not. Not at all.
Clever. So if that's the case, that's got to show local knowledge, surely.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so.
God, I bet it's someone they knew.
That's terrible to think.
It is. I'm thinking this is someone that they knew well enough to get into a car with.
So my question is, I don't see them driving out towards Como, right? Going not that far and then just turning around and coming back home. Do you think they
No.
continued on to,
I
like,
think,
Denver?
yeah. I think they're not from Breckenridge area. I think they're from outside of town.
If they knew them, they would probably live in one of those towns that we've mentioned,
Or they'd
Alma.
work in there.
Yeah, they're not gonna live in Denver and work in Breckenridge. That's gonna be too far.
Would it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're not gonna be making that trip. I mean,
No?
I'm sure you could, but I don't think they would. I don't think at this time. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So I think it'd be if it was someone that they knew, it'd probably be someone who was local to that area, that Summit County, Park County area, right?
Yeah.
So I think that they would either be from Frisco or Blue River, Alma, Fairplay, something like
Como?
that, I would
Maybe
think.
somewhere like Como.
Maybe
Or
Como, yeah.
there's ranches around. When you read, there's like Red Hill,
Mhm.
Bardee Ranch. There's loads of other little places that they could live. It could be somebody that just lives just off the highway somewhere in a remote farm, or,
Could be, yeah.
it could be anything like that. Could it be somebody that worked in the area seasonal? Could it be somebody that only lives there for
Mm,
that you would see all the time? Because, like you said, people come into work there that don't live in Breckenridge, but they live
yeah,
outside of it. Could it be somebody that just comes there to work? Could it be a seasonal worker
very,
that they've
very
met
possible. So someone that's working in the
in that
resort area or
season? Yeah.
something.
So they're only working there that season. They're not from the area at all, but they would know the area because they've been working there for that season. When you do seasonal work like that, you'd know the local area because it's a small area.
Mhm.
So
True.
I think it's somebody who knows the area that they're familiar with, but not familiar with enough to be like really good friends. My guess it especially I've worked in seasonal places and you quickly make friends. You quickly make friends and then though at the end of the season,
Mhm.
everybody goes their separate ways. And then next
Yeah.
season, if you go back to the same place, your workmates could be like 90% different to last year.
Okay, I can see okay, with Annette, I can see that easily, right?
Yeah.
Because she's working in that type of field. She's working at the
Yeah.
Holiday Inn, so she's
Yeah.
working in a hotel,
Yeah.
and then she a bartender, right?
Yeah. So,
So you're gonna get to know a lot of people very, very fast.
yeah.
Now with Bobby Joe, I don't think she is gonna be in that sort of situation, right? So she works in a real estate agency, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, she's a local, technically, even though
Yeah.
she's from the area. I would be curious to find out if Bobby Joe was seen talking to anyone at the
Mm.
village pub besides her friends.
Exactly.
Could this be a
Mm.
situation where someone had killed Annette, went back to Breckenridge, happened to go to the village pub, either talked to Bobby Joe or
Yes.
watched her and saw her leave,
On her
and
own.
then said, "Oh," on her own, say, "Okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Let's try it again."
Yeah. It could be. And it could be somebody who works in the area that has got to know her from I mean, we don't know how often she went to the village pub with her friends. It could be somebody
Mhm.
that she saw, I don't know, on her way to work every morning. Somebody
Could
who,
be. It
you know,
Yeah, and you said Jeff said that Bobby Joe would not get into a car with someone she didn't know, right?
yeah, which
Who's
is
to say that someone didn't pull up and pull in a gun and say, "Get in the car"?
exactly, like that case we did that you did, where that's what they did. They just pulled up alongside her, put the gun out and said, like, "Get in the car." Well, she's gonna, isn't she?
Yeah.
Because she's got a gun pointed at her.
Mhm, exactly. Yeah.
Although, do you know what? I've thought about this whole gun situation. If somebody pulled up in a parking lot to you and put a gun at you and said to you, "Get in the car or I'm gonna shoot you," why do you not drop to the floor and scream? Because somebody's gonna notice you. They're not gonna be able to shoot you through the floor. They're gonna
Yeah,
just
I
speed
don't know.
away.
Yeah, I don't
It's like
know.
the whole running upstairs when there's a murderer in your house, isn't there? You don't run upstairs, you run out the front door. So I just always
Yeah.
wonder why maybe it's because you don't think at the time
You
because you're so
yeah, you're just
frightened.
like, "Oh my god." Yeah, first, "Okay, I gotta get in the car." Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
because I would think the first thing to do would be to drop and just scream as loud as you can because they're not gonna be able to
Mhm.
get you. They're gonna have to come over the passenger seat or out of their door, but you'll be on the floor. Just in case anybody does this to you people. Try that, you never know. No, I agree with you. I think that I've got a feeling that Bobby Joe was an opportunistic. Like you said, I think Bobby Joe was an opportunistic one, whereas I think Annette's was a bit more planned because this whole woman that was with Annette, that's strange. No one knows who
Yeah.
she is.
Mm-mm.
That I think that's a bit weird, the whole Annette and the woman.
It is. Yeah, I think we still have a lot to unwrap in this case, and when we come back next time, I think we need to start talking more about suspects because
Suspects.
I know we talked about Jeff a little bit, so we still have Jeff Oberholtzer to kind of talk about,
Yes.
and we have a few other ones that we can discuss and see if we think that they might be involved.
So you just literally from last week's episode to this week's episode, I've totally changed my mind.
So what are you on now? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking the husband hasn't got anything to do with this. I'm thinking Jeff, okay, Jeff now is a lot less a lot less on my list of suspects. I'm
But I
thinking
think we can see why he is a suspect, though.
definitely, yeah,
There are
yeah,
things that scream out, okay, suspect.
yeah. He's linked to the two girls. You can see why. This woman is the one that bothers me. The woman with Annette is the one that throws a
Yeah.
spanner in the works for me. I think the military guy in the picture's got nothing to do with it. I think he was just,
Red herring.
yeah, definitely. I just think that's just something coincidental. I don't think he's got anything to do with it. It's this woman, for me, she is the pinnacle of this. She's the answer. I think she's got the key to this woman that was with her.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I just have this feeling that it's just too coincidental, right?
Yeah.
I don't see you being in a pharmacy with. It seemed like this is a person that she has met up with who she is getting a ride from, right? That's what it kind of comes across as.
Yeah.
Especially if we're like, oh, hey, by the way, don't forget you wanted to get some cigarettes, and then I'm going to pay for them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So unless this woman's like, hey, I can give you a ride down to Breckenridge.
I'll pay.
Buy me a pack
Exactly.
of cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly what
Maybe,
I was
right?
thinking. Yeah, exactly. That's my thought.
But then the question becomes, does that person continue to take you out of Breckenridge, or are you getting picked up by someone else?
Oh, don't throw more spanners in the works. Now I'm thinking, what if she stopped halfway? We can only take you 5 miles. Like we said in the first episode, I can only take you 5 miles. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'll get another. And now someone else picks her up.
This is why this case is so difficult.
God. Now you've done it. Now I'm thinking all different new stuff.
I know. But let's talk about that next episode when we talk about suspects, and let's talk about what we think actually happened. How's that sound?
It sounds great. Oh, this is not good for me. My poor brain. Right, yes. Next episode then we'll get on to the suspects and see if we can make some sort of clear path on this.
Are you now seeing why this is my rabbit hole?
I'm now seeing why you've been so invested in this case. Yes. Yeah.
This is a case that, yeah.
This is your Ben Byleth case.
I want this to be solved.
Yes.
Yeah. So next year, I know that we did. We did. Hey, what case that we covered that you want to be solved? I can tell you right now. When you ask me this next or this December 2021, I'm going to say
I will.
The murder of Bobbi Jo Oberholtzer and Annette Schnee.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Do you know something I've just thought of that we're going to be doing? We're going to be doing CrimeCon this year, and we're doing a live episode. And this is looking like a really good episode for the live episode.
It is. I mean, I know it doesn't have anything to do with the UK, but it is a really, really good one.
It's just really, really good. It's a rabbit hole and a half, this is.
Could you imagine if I got like a bunch of maps printed out?
I'm just going to hand out maps.
Like, all right, we're playing map, everybody. Look at my map.
Look at your maps. Oh, my God.
This is definitely a map case. This is a map case.
Do you know what? I'm rubbish at maps, but I'm doing pretty good on this one. I'm following your map pretty good.
Yeah. And with this one, I feel like you have to.
You have to.
Kind of have to.
You have to.
Because if I were to say, okay, yeah, so her first stuff was found in Como, Colorado, you can't really grasp like what this means.
You need to see it.
If I say, okay, yeah, it's 10 miles away, you need to grasp the whole area.
You definitely
because once you see it, you were like, oh shit, these people were taken off, and they just threw out the window, like they were leaving the area.
If you're at work listening to this, we should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. You need to get Google Maps up so that you can follow where we're talking about.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. This has been a really crazy case so far, and we've still got another whole episode to go.
I'm ready for a break.
I'm ready for a drink. Well, thank you for joining us this week. As always, get on to our socials. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's something that you're screaming at your podcast appliance at, telling us to mention something that we're not. Because I know that happens a lot.
I know. It's so easy. It's so easy, especially like when we get into things.
Yeah.
And like we get really like, I can tell when we both get really excited about a case or about like aspects of case, because we can jump into it, and sometimes we get stuck on it.
Yeah.
And
we get a bit high pitched.
Yeah. And sometimes we can forget to jump back on certain points.
Yeah.
It happens. But
it happens when I listen back to our episodes and I go, damn, Cherry, why didn't you mention this? What about this? And then I'm really mad with myself because I've not mentioned it. So yeah, let us know what you think, and you can contact us on all the same things as you usually can. And then next week, hopefully, we'll have some more answers for you.
Absolutely.
Yes. So for now, then, be nice.
And bye.
I love the buys.